Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Kernels of Truth, brought to you by Progress Kentucky. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We're going to be highlighting some Kentucky GOP folks worth adding to our Bitin lists. We're going to look at the looming hunger crisis facing our commonwealth. We're then going to check in with Leandra Forman, the executive director of Lexington's FoodChain, about how they are gearing up to respond to this SNAP shortage and what they heard from their clients when they asked them about SNAP. Finally, we'll speak with Kentucky's 6th candidate, Cherlynn Stevenson, about what she thinks of this shutdown mess and what she would do differently if she was in D.C., which about this time next year we'll be able to make that decision. All right, so it should be a great show. Glad you're here. Before we get into it, though, I want to check and make sure you're ready to help take Trump's power. That's right. Folks, we are sorely in need of some significant political change in Kentucky and the country. For the next 12 months, we're going to be laser focused on flipping the 6th district, the key state house seats that are within that 16-county congressional district. Later this show, we're going to hear from one of the candidates running for the Democratic Party nomination, but we're really looking beyond the primary and working to shift the electorate who will ultimately show up next November. It's a big job. It's going to take volunteers. It's going to take time. It's going to take resources. And we honestly very much need your help. If you're in the 6th district and are tired of Bootlicker Bar, please join us for our Flip the 6th campaign launch event. It's going to be on Sunday, November 9th at noon. We're going to be at the Lexington West 6 Barrel Room with Silas House, with Representative Adam Moore and others. Show up, sign up, become a monthly donor, become a volunteer, maybe both, ideally both. Help us out however you can to make our political landscape a little more purple here in Kentucky. Wouldn't it be awesome if we had another legislature in DC that was actually standing up for our values and not just Jamie Comer, Andy Barr, all those horrible folks who just really seem to be kind of bending over to do Trump's bidding the most enthusiastically. So yeah, lots to do to make that change happen. We've got a plan to do it, but to make it really implemented, we're going to need your support to do it. I've got a link in the comments. You can go ahead and join us by RSVPing and getting the details for our Flip the 6 campaign launch on November 9th. So, all right, that's a little plug to start the show. Not the last plug, but the best plug. And we're going to now turn to our co-hosts. Let us know who you are, where you are, and maybe who is on your Bitin list. So let's start with my friend from Berea, Chris Priest. How are you today?
Hello. I'm good. I'm hopped up on sugar from all the chocolate chip cookies I've been making. I'm here in Berea.
If you don't know anything about Chris Priest, you should know that he is an awesome science teacher. He is also an awesome chocolate maker, and he's a far less awesome candidate for the 6th district. But that's
not doing that, right now anymore. Maybe later in my life, but
unfair. I know, unfair. Sorry, Chris.
Bitin list. Other than some cookies, Calvin Leach is on my Bitin list. If you don't know who he is, you'll know a little bit later in our news story about this South Louisville guy.
Calvin Leach. That's a teaser. Folks. We're going to be back to that one in a bit. All right. Turning to you, Dr. Cecil Jones. How are you? Where are you? Who's on your Bitin list?
I am doing very, very well. And I'm coming to you live from Louisville, Kentucky, Jefferson County. And my Bitin list today, I'm going to put the EEOC on there. Okay. Because things happen that we don't even know is happening while we're looking at all the other stuff they throw in front of us. But the EEOC is dropping cases and sending letters out to people that have pending cases that they need to get a lawyer. So in essence, right now, there is a fight that's brewing because the EEOC would then be failing to enforce the law that Congress enacted in 1964 for, job related discrimination and hazards and things of this nature. So that is in jeopardy, according to the Trump administration as well.
that is shocking to me that the Trump administration isn't like just managing the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission with just amazing gusto and vigor. That's just so weird, given that their number one first thing they did out of the gates was to end DEI, which I got to imagine EEOC is, seen as a direct kind of forerunner of that work, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, bummer. So I guess, so I'm Aaron. I'm coming to you from Chilesburg, a beautiful deed-restricted community on the outskirts of Lexington. You'll know it when you get there because of the sea of vinyl siding, all in pretty much the same color scheme. But yeah, no. So my biting list today is going to be Brooke Rollins. If you're not familiar with the name Brooke Rollins, it's not one of the higher profile Trump apparatchiks, but she's been in the news this week because she is the USDA secretary, U.S. Department of Agriculture secretary. She comes to that job. She's earned it clearly because she was, of course, the Cotton Bowl queen and a kind of hacky attorney. Also was the ethics advisor to former Texas Governor Rick Perry. So there you go. She is now, though, making decisions about whether USDA is going to fund SNAP, which, spoiler, they're not. Even though they have billions of dollars in an emergency reserve fund, she is doing the Trump bidding and saying, nope, we're not going to move that money, even though it was in their plan to cover government shutdown funding shortages. That money was like in their plan for that purpose. They then have, iterated. They basically have taken that out of their plan and hidden the plan and taken it offline. And they are now, because she's, one of Trump's favorite, she's like taking it to the pores and trolling the libs at the same time, saying that, well, if y'all think that it's so important to fund this, then maybe the George Soros should fund it. Maybe George Soros should spend his money on funding the SNAP program. So yeah, really just awesome woman. And I would definitely, high on the hackles, coming for her for sure. All right, that's our biting list. Oh, you know what? I forgot completely because I'm the world's worst producer, folks. I'm producing because we don't have a producer, so there's no one I can yell at behind the scenes. It's just me forgetting to do things. But look, here's our cool biting list graphic. So if you're watching this right now, you gotta love that they all look like Violet. What's her name when the girl chews Violet. The gum gets purple in the in Charlie's Chocolate Factory?
Yeah, it's her name's Violet.
It's Violet. Yeah, they all look like Violet. I'm not sure why they turn purple when we bit them. Is that what happens when you get rabies? You turn purple?
They're not getting enough oxygen to their brain.
Okay, well, all right. So let's move on. Let's do some maybe a little more important work. Let's cover news of the week. Shall we roll into that, folks?
Sure. Yeah.
Nice. I think you do have the first story.
I do. So any millennial females in South Louisville might be really interested in this story in particular, as you all will get a chance to vote against this person. His name is Calvin Leach. He's a 35-year-old retired U.S. Army veteran. And in 2018 wrote a blog post about millennial females. Now, why is he important? He is the Republican candidate running for a state Senate seat in a special election in South Louisville. Okay. And the levels that he digs a hole for himself in talking about women, like he must be an incel. So the title of his article is "Why You Should Never Become Emotionally Invested in Millennial Females," and goes on to call them promiscuous skanks, coddled. I don't really want to say this word on air, but close your ears if you don't want to hear it. Coddled Americans, party whores, and damn sleuths. It's like he sounds like he has small hands, if you get my drift. Much like our president and hasn't, figured out how to treat the opposite sex equally. It's amazing to me that this is the candidate that they're rolling out with in a special election. Like, do you have no one else? He ran for this seat once before and lost, and they're running him again. And why they would put him up in a special election? I mean, maybe they think name recognition or something. But the article, go in and read more about it, because I don't want to go into the just complete depths that he digs a hole for himself to never find a wife. Really, any woman who has a good sense of self-respect would just look at this article and just know that this man is not it.
Yeah.
And just wow. And again, I'm going to say his name again, just so you know, is Calvin Leach. Okay, Leach. About as appetizing as a critter as he is a candidate.
Yeah, and this is, of course, the special election. So this is, Senator David Yates was appointed to be the Jefferson County clerk, right? So Bobby Holtzcloth died. He'd been there forever. He was then appointed by Mayor Greenberg to fill that role, which, of course, he, is choosing to leave the state Senate. And now the parties get to pick their candidate, right? So this isn't like this guy just raised his hand and was ran in a primary. The parties themselves get to pick the person to go up in these special elections. That's in December 16th. So we've got the Democratic Party picked a longtime labor leader, Gary Clemens. So somebody who's got a lot of kind of legitimacy with working class folks, who's been in the labor movement there in the Louisville area for a really long time, did some great organizing. But the Republicans selected this guy, Incel Calvin Leach, and they chose him. That was like, this is the right guy for us to beat the Democrats in a competitive state Senate district. Just mind-boggling, I would say. Mind-boggling.
It is. And the Democrats have held this seat since the 1940s, from the article stated. So it's been held for Democrats for a long time. But still, you can find somebody better than that to run in the race. And Kim, how are you gonna rally your fellow South Louisville peeps and get this guy just swept under a rug?
Chris, anytime previous to what we've been accustomed to at this point, I think it's gone on long enough to say that, I would instantly say this man has no chance between heaven or hell to even run. But now, I don't know.
Oh.
Well, I don't know. And most of the people in the South End probably voted for Trump, more or less. Okay. So they might be okay with it. Daniel is still a representative, Goldberg.
Yeah. But picking the Democrat who's a Democrat, even though he had some unsavory things, right, that versus the guy who's a Republican with unsavory things, I think the electorate still probably tends Democratic, but he's the Republicans really want to make inroads in Jefferson Parish, that's for sure, right? So they're working hard. But this seems like this is a tough guy to really make any headway with, I would expect. I don't know. We'll see. You are the Louisvillian, so you tell us, Dr. Cecil Jones. All right. Let's move on to story number 2, which I'm really excited about this one, not because the news is exciting. It's really just more of how the GOP is pretty horrible. This one comes to us from, it's actually an opinion piece. So, kind of like, newsy. It comes from the Kentucky Lantern, but it's a commentary piece from our friend Terry Carter. Terry Carter, of course, who is in Anderson County, wonderful, wonderful woman who actually has joined our Flip the Six advisory committee. So this is a little bit of our helping ourselves, because she's a great ally, but did a really good job of just pointing out like, oh yeah, there's more bad actors in the GOP right now. Bobby Coleman, who is the chairperson of the Hardin County Republican Party, shared an AI video, because the GOP cannot get enough of the AI videos. So this was on the county party's Facebook page, and it had Trump as the Lion King, but very pointedly in the beginning of this thing, and really the first, I don't know, most of the video, first 10 seconds, 15 seconds of the video, it's Barack Obama and Michelle Obama as apes. Like, that is a ton of this video. You're like, okay, I guess they really want to make the ape point. And Coleman eventually did take down the video, posted an apology, because, of course, I'm glad there's some measure of shame still in this community. But why in the world would the Obamas feature? Terry makes this point. Why would the Obamas feature in a video celebrating? She said we were celebrating Trump's achievements, right? So why would you spend the first 10 seconds of that video pointing out the Obamas as apes before you move into Trump's achievements, which you didn't really make because he's a lion, but and all the other Democrats are other animals. So it's like pretty lame. But it's not shocking, right? Because a decade later, they're still obsessed with Barack and Michelle Obama. And Obama is a cartoon figure to MAGA because he's black. Racism sells, she says, very straightforwardly, very plainly. Which, she has been documenting this in the Kentucky GOP. She wrote a really powerful piece at the end of the 2024 General Assembly, saying that, racism is alive and well in the General Assembly because of the GOP. Senate Bill 6, House Bill 9, which, took aim at DEI. There was the Senator Neal's proposed Crown Act, which never gets anywhere because it stops discrimination on the basis of hairstyle. And of course, there was Jennifer Decker, the white woman, white GOP representative, telling an NAACP audience that her white father was a slave, and then doubling down on the claim when asked to explain in a way that nobody could understand. But yeah, lots of racism on display with the Kentucky GOP. Let's not pretend it's otherwise. There's still, lost cause supporting the Confederacy. Really important that they do that. And obviously, Calvin Leach, misogyny for sure. This is what they got. It's the basis of their party, and on many, many levels. The fact that the KKK was out and about last week in the dead of night, sharing their flyers around central Kentucky, just really gross. But I really think they've been, given some sense of, it's okay. We're getting a lot of cover from the GOP, so we might as well share and see what we can do to recruit some folks. So I don't know, big issue, growth issue. But did want to just flag it for folks, because I think there's a lot of folks who are just concerned about what's happening with our two-party system right now, that one party is just not legitimately attuned to what America really is right now. So but yeah, Chris or Kimberly, any thoughts about this great column from Terry?
I'll speak.
All right.
I got a lot of comments that I could say. Traditionally, they have always depicted Black folks as apes and gorillas and monkeys. That wasn't surprising to me. During his administration, all of the, what do you call them, effigies or whatever you call them? I mean, it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. And that these things are happening at a rapid speed, they're escalating even more, is not surprising either. All I know is I could not have been a slave, like for real. I would not. They would have killed me instantly. because of my rebellious nature. And I just would not have that type of patience and fortitude and strength and be that amazing to get through what slaves got through, because I can barely handle what's happening right now. Back to you, Aaron.
Yeah, thanks, Kim. Yeah, really challenging time for sure. Chris, any thoughts?
The amount that this stuff is happening with Trump, and it happened in the first Trump term, and it's just happening even more now. It's sickening, and I just hope that there's enough people awakening and seeing it for what it is, instead of just trying to cover it up for political advantages or whatever. And I think some people are waking up for that, and I'm hoping it's enough.
Needs to be more, that's for sure. All right, so I think, Kimberly, you've got the third story, really important story, so I want to give you enough time to get through it before we bring in our first guest. So Kimberly, tell us a bit about what's going on with SNAP.
Well, it's looking like that on November the 1st, if we are still in a shutdown, there can only be a miracle at this point. But if we are still in a shutdown, November supplement payments for SNAP food stamps will not be downloaded on those EBT cards. But I did do a little bit of research on different things that are happening with the food stamp, pending. I'm just going to say pending, because I'm still praying, thinking of a miracle that will happen before the 1st on Saturday. But actually, right here in Kentucky, there's 600,000 plus people that are SNAP beneficiaries. Kentucky spends about $106 million a month on food stamps. Our governor is quite concerned, feeling the heat of what can be done, what can we do. So he has joined a lawsuit with 41 other individuals, governors and attorney generals, because they feel like the federal government needs to fund food stamps. Also, Donald Trump had an opportunity to tap into a $5 billion contingency fund to help pay for food stamps, but no go. He did not want to even attempt to look at that. Although he's changed his tune, like, I'm going to find a way. I'm going to find a way. And he's like the little boy that cried wolf. Who's going to believe that, if he's really going to do that? But nothing has happened so far. Also, I've been keeping tabs, Aaron, on November the 3rd. They are saying on TikTok, Facebook Reels, and also on YouTube, in the shorts, they are saying and sending out messages to many people across the country, SNAP recipients, that on November the 3rd, they're going to bum rush stores, primarily grocery stores. They're going to bum rush it, and they're going to fill their carts up and just quickly leave the store, which is in essence theft. And I wonder how that would be taken care of in the court of law, knowing that there was not going to be any food stamps and so on and so forth. And also, Senator Rand Paul is concerned about possible no food stamps. So, and in addition to the actual shutdown, he has proposed and introduced that we need a committee of 3 Republicans, 3 Democrats to end the shutdown. I don't think that's going to really happen at this point, but kudos for trying. Also, I found out, Aaron, that rollover stamps can be used in November. A lot of people had questions and comments. Were they even going to be able to use their cards in November? Let's say they had some food stamps from October that rolled over to November. You'll still be able to use your EBT card for that. Also, in another lawsuit, even red states have joined, as our governor has, to the administration over the food stamp debacle, is what I'm calling it. But there are some good Samaritan things, thinking about finding out in your own area, if not for yourself, for maybe your neighbors that may need it. We do know that the Salvation Army is trying to come up with a plan. We know that all kinds of other independent community organizations are trying to come up with a plan. And most certainly, yourself or your neighbors or friends or family, tell them to go to the churches. The churches are really trying to step up to the plate right now for November, for this impending catastrophe. But I do want to say this real quick. There are some people that are, companies that are coming into the fold as well, of trying to help. So GoPuff is an app, almost like a DoorDash or Uber Eats or whatever, and you can order things on there like that. On the 27th, they put out a press release saying that they will give $50 in SNAP credits and free delivery. So they're doing a total of $10 million for this relief. That's GoPuff. And from November the 1st to the 15th, you buy something with your SNAP, your EBT card, you'll get $25. And then November 16th to the 30th, you can order something and get $25 off. And that's also with free delivery. Then also DoorDash is offering a free emergency SNAP relief. DoorDash is offering once per month during this shutdown, free delivery, waived service fees, but you must order and use your EBT card. So that's pretty much where we're standing. And I think that also the state government is trying to do something. There was an email that was sent out today to all social workers and case managers, things of that nature, that they were giving resources as they would receive phone calls. So there is help available. Put your pride in your pocket, ladies and gentlemen, and call your local places and churches and things of that nature, because we are very, very serious about making sure that all of Kentuckians are fed. Back to you, Aaron.
Thanks so much, Kimberly. Yeah, and I think this brings us to our next guest in a really useful way. So I think we're going to hold any questions, and let's just get to Leandra.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Right.
I meant to say this. On the GoPuff app, giving you $50 free of food for the month. They're only going to do 200,000 people. So you might want to get it there on November the 1st when the clock strikes 12:01 a.m. and order your groceries.
Gotcha. GoPuff. First, I'm hearing about that one, but I don't do a lot of delivery services. So, all right. So really excited to have with us our first guest tonight, Leandra Forman, who is with FoodChain. FoodChain is a Lexington-based nonprofit. It's been around for a while, doing really important work, feeding communities, helping connect people to their food. Also housed at the Bread Box, which is one of our favorite spots, mostly because that's where West 6 is. And I do like that beer an awful lot. So really glad to have Leandra joining us to talk a little bit about what FoodChain does and how they're responding to this kind of looming food crisis. Leandra, thanks so much for joining us. How are you today?
Hey guys, doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so if you could just tell us a little bit about FoodChain. I don't know that everyone's heard of y'all, but if you've been around Lexington, you probably heard the name and seen the stuff. But tell us what you do and how you do it.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. So sometimes I have to give you guys the super abbreviated version. So we are a nonprofit with a mission to forge links between our community and fresh food. We've actually been here in the Bread Box for 14 years. We celebrated our 14th anniversary this year in October. So we were one of the first businesses in here, besides West 6 Brewing, in partnership with Smithtown Seafood. So we originally started as an indoor aquaponics farm, demonstrating urban agriculture and how to rethink where and how food is grown. Expanded that to open our teaching and processing kitchen in 2017. That expanded and became a site where we did summer food service in 2019. And then in 2020, we launched Nourish Lexington during the pandemic as an initiative to band together to feed Lexingtonians all over, trying to make sure that everyone had access to food through delivery services and fresh hot meals. We have continued that service ever since. And so currently we have kind of like a traveling education unit that goes around and teaches people about how to cook their own food, how to cook seasonally, how to, use a knife and understand kitchen safety and food safety. We do that with everything from, children after school centers, as well as seniors and recovery centers. And then we do fresh food distribution. So we have a delivery service of grocery boxes and frozen meals that goes out to about 180 households here in Fayette County. And then we do monthly deliveries to folks affected by flooding in Eastern Kentucky. And then we do hot meals and provide hot meals and grocery boxes straight out our front door, right at the intersection of Jefferson and West 6th Street. And so on our hot meal handout nights, we're handing out around 600 meals every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then over 100 grocery boxes every Friday.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot. You guys are doing a lot.
I didn't even get into all of it. So I left some things off, I have you know. So yeah, we are some ambitious folks around here. A lot of the work we do has to do with, we also do food rescue. We rescue from Trader Joe's, get donations from God's Pantry, work with Glean Kentucky, and we source as much as we can directly from Kentucky farmers and kind of do this balancing act of donated food, combined with direct farm impact food so that we can still provide, a good, reasonably priced meal to folks, reasonably priced for us in terms of like the cost of us making it, because all of our food we currently distribute is free, and then balancing that while still trying to be able to pay farmers.
Yeah, that's amazing. But you mentioned, you delivering to 100 plus, nearly 200 folks in Lexington. You're feeding about 600 folks a day when you've got your kind of door open at West 6th there. It's awesome and it's important. How would you kind of compare and contrast it versus the scale of SNAP, which we're hearing is like 600,000 people across Kentucky, tens of thousands, I would imagine, in Lexington that rely on the service. How are you viewing this looming SNAP crisis?
I mean, to me, having been in this, on kind of like the front line of this for a long time, we have seen the potential that SNAP has to create change in our food system. And there is just no way for this short of a timeline to allow the community to respond in a way to truly make up for the difference in SNAP. I saw a quote that it would be $102 million in 1 month of lost, not just money in people's pockets for feeding their families, but lost revenue across the state. And that doesn't even take into account the Kentucky Double Dollars programs at farmers markets, where people are able to double those SNAP dollars. And in some places, they've gotten matching funds and people have been able to triple their SNAP dollars. So that 102 million doesn't even account for those SNAP dollars across the state that have matching funds attached to them that further that funding to have such a huge impact on our local economy. And when we think about, the people who are immediately going hungry and then the ripple effect of affecting the economy in this massive way that is, causing, job loss and causing more people to qualify for SNAP, a program which is no longer available to them to rely on. So you see the magnitude that it's a snowballing effect. And like, it is awesome for community members to sponsor families for a month. It's awesome for churches to host a holiday pantry. But this issue is really, really deep and extremely impactful for families. And unfortunately, I don't think that that Kentucky is going to be able to fundraise $102 million by Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a really good point. You guys did some really interesting work. You spoke with folks about the survey, I think, about SNAP. I found this on your Facebook page. But you want to walk us through what you found?
Yeah, so we were able to interview folks who come to FoodChain already for our services and talk. You know, we started the survey asking whether they did utilize SNAP or not. And, you know, the results are not shocking, but I think it is really helpful to see just how many people it is going to affect in really serious ways. I think, you know, one of the starkest numbers is that, you know, 70% of the people we talked to said that without SNAP, that they anticipate that they will be missing and reducing their food intake. So that means they don't know where else they're going to get it. So they're going to be having to skip meals. And that's really a significant finding in terms of, you know, the community health. One of the big things that came up is, you know, people with negative health outcomes already are looking ahead and being like, it's already been hard enough for me to manage my illness, to manage my chronic disease. Now I'm adding hunger and even greater lack of access to fresh and healthy and nourishing foods. We know that in this country, that the things that are most affordable, that are most accessible, are often not the things that are most nourishing for our bodies. You know, we're looking at, you know, high quality proteins and fresh produce are most expensive things at our grocery stores. Calorie dense and nutrient lacking foods are our cheapest products for people to fill their bellies with. And they're also, sadly, one of the things that's easiest for a lot of pantries and food service, you know, food aid organizations to be able to fill their shelves with. And so as we cut funding, we're going to see, I think, a rise in a lot of the foods that may have calories in them, but are not providing a lot of the essential nutrients and the protein content and a lot of the minerals and vitamins that people need to actually maintain long-term health.
Just not nourishing food. People are, going to move to the less, useful option. But really just sad, really terrifying to see how many people expect to go hungry and how many of your clients are really just poised to go hungry. Chris, Kim, any quick questions for Leandra about their important work there at FoodChain?
Yeah, so I'm curious if this is something that's been done in Berea where I live. We have like blessing boxes of essentially like little food pantries at certain houses. We have one at our house, and there's like 5 or 6 around Berea, and it gets constantly visited a lot. And I was just curious if that's also something that you all have worked with in getting food in small neighborhoods that people can access easily.
Yeah, a lot of those are run mostly by the neighborhood organizations themselves and the neighbors who are kind of keeping an eye on it. We actually had one outside of FoodChain for a little while, and it didn't really work out on the FoodChain side of things. And for us, it just kind of got trashed a little bit, but that's okay because it's not the same. This is a thoroughfare space as opposed to like a personal neighborhood. So it's easy for someone to walk by and just be like, so that's what happened to ours. But I do think those are a great way for caring for neighbors when you have someone who in the neighborhood who's really dedicated to watching it and refilling it and maintaining food safety in it. For us, like, our volume is so large that it like outpaces the like blessing box style. But we really, we really encourage people. And one of the things we always encourage people is like, when we do our grocery boxes, we do basically a one size fits all box. So if you have things in there you're not going to eat, like, go to a share table, and like someone, you may not want the whole cabbage, but then your neighbor might want 3 cabbages, and so like, how do we create that sense of community sharing as well? That's one of the reasons we've always, given multiple meals, tried to give people really full round meals, and then create those direct opportunities for inter-community sharing, because we think that that's a really important part of being part of these food recipient programs.
Awesome. Thanks. Kim, any final question or thought? We do need to move on to our next interview. I see them waiting in the green room, so we'll need to get moving, but do appreciate all that you've shared with us. Leandra, super informative.
I just wanted to say thank you for all that you do, and I will be sending the most positive energy and prayers towards you guys' way, because we just don't know how this is going to turn out.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Such a big challenge ahead. Glad that FoodChain and other organizations are there. Obviously, check the FoodChain Lex website. I am sure as a nonprofit, you take donations and folks and they take volunteers as well. So folks have been pitching in and helping out with them too. So, but we'll get more to that later. But again, Leandra, very nice to hear from you, and thanks so much for sharing your work with us.
Thank you for letting me come on today. Take care.
All right, so really excited. Now we're going to be moving on with our series. So folks have been paying attention. If you've been watching the show, we've been having a run of all the folks running for the Kentucky 6th District. Well, okay, not all the folks. We've been talking to the Democrats who've been running for it. We would be more than happy to hear from the Republicans as well, but so far not heard from them. But yeah, so really excited to have number 3 in the series, and Cherlynn Stevenson, who's been my representative, so I'm a little bit biased here. She was the 88th State House representative for a few terms. Really fantastic legislature, and then found herself with maybe a little more time on her hands, and found a race that she could get behind. So really excited to see her running. Excited to talk to her about the campaign. Cherlynn Stevenson, how are you doing?
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me on. I feel like at this point I want to be called out as like friend of the show.
Yeah, no, I think you've been on the show probably more than Chris. Maybe not more than me or Kim, right, but I think maybe more than Chris, because Chris only hosts once a month, and you've been a regular guest on this show for, I think, years, is safe to say. So, always good to have you back.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So, yeah, how's the campaign?
It's great. It's great. We I actually just raced home from a healthcare and government shutdown roundtable that we did tonight down at the public library downtown. We invited a lot of young adults to come talk to us just about things that are affecting their lives around the government shutdown, the impending SNAP cuts, healthcare cuts that are coming, rising premiums, just to kind of listen and see what they had to say. It's very important for me as a legislator to talk to people, listen to them, what's giving them hope, what are the good things happening, and what are the things that they're worried about. You can't carry the people's voice to the halls of power if you're not talking to them and listening to them, and listening more than you talk. So we've been doing a bunch of roundtables. So we did that one today. We've held a veterans roundtable to talk to folks about cuts that are happening at the VA and their health care. We've done another one just about the Medicaid cuts in Richmond. So been doing a whole lot of that, and just trying to listen to what is on folks' mind, what really what they're worried about, and just trying to cut to the meat of what people need right now from their legislators.
Yeah, that's important. So first, kind of like question about you and your candidacy. So who are you? Where do you come from? You know, why do you think you're, why do you want to be a member of Congress? I don't know.
Well, so, a lot of people know that I am from Eastern Kentucky. So I was born in Knott County. I was raised by the best elementary school teacher that you'll ever see and the toughest Army veteran and coal miner that you ever could hope to meet. And they raised me with very strong values. I went to Morehead State University. So I wanted to stay in the mountains to continue my public education. And it's really there in the first part of my life that I became what I am, which is a mountain Democrat, and that it is that we don't believe that other people have to lose in order for us to win, that we are absolutely stronger together. And when you try to do the most good for the most amount of people, then everything else will just kind of fall into place. And so that's the kind of adult I've tried to be. That was the kind of legislator I tried to be when I was in Frankfurt, and the kind of legislator that I want to be when I get to Washington. When we've got so much at stake. So this race is on everyone's radar nationally, right? And adding to that fact and to that spotlight is the fact that the current majority in Congress is being held by the thinnest margin that we've had in probably a century or maybe more. So a lot of folks are watching this, and the truth of the matter is we need to be sure that we are choosing the right candidate to ride what we think is going to shape up to be a blue wave across the nation next year. And I believe that I am that candidate. I'm the only one that has experience legislating. I'm the only one that has a history of running for and winning an open seat that has long been held by Republicans. I'm the only one that has a history of fighting back against the negative politics that kind of make up our elections these days. And I'm the only one that has experience standing on a legislative floor and standing up to MAGA Republicans. So I believe that now's the time when we're in a major storm. The last thing that you want behind the wheel is somebody untested. So I believe that I'm the best choice in this race, and it would be the absolute honor of a lifetime to represent the people that I love and the communities that I love right here in the heart of Kentucky.
Nice. All right. So we'd queued up a question, which I think you just answered, but Chris, you got another question for Cher?
So, currently we're living in unprecedented times in American history.
We are.
And I'm curious of how your skill set is going to really serve for what we need to get out of this mess.
Yeah, well, I think it's twofold. I think one is I haven't been winning without Republicans and independents voting for me. So I think that it's very important when you're on the campaign trail that you can be able to talk to people from all sides of the political aisle and find ways to connect to them, to listen to them, find the things that you have in common and work from there. And that is exactly what it's like to legislate as well. When you go in and you're looking at a set of problems, you've got to figure out, where can I find common ground with these people across the aisle? And where is the line that we dig in and we hold that line? So I think that comes a little bit with experience. And so I will say I'm the only one that could go in and start day one and know what legislating is actually like, know what constituent services looks like, and be ready to start collaborating with my folks on my side of the aisle. I served one whole term in leadership, but also know that sometimes you do have to compromise and know how to find those commonalities to get some good things done for your people. When I was in Frankfurt, I served in a super duper minority, but yet we were able to get things done. And part of that is not wanting glory for yourself, just wanting good things for your people. And so you go in and you find ways to make things happen that make the lives of your people better. And whether you get the credit for it and the glory for it, it doesn't matter. At least it doesn't matter to me, because I am there to do the best thing that I can for my neighbors and my communities that I'm trying to serve. And I will get that done, whatever that looks like, and whatever accolades come with it or not. I just want to see good things for our people.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And also as a fellow MSU alum, go Eagles.
Go Eagles.
Getting that Eagles vote. All right. So, Kimberly, you got a question for sure?
I sure do. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm wonderful. Look, that photo of you, man.
Thank you so
That
much, Cheryl. You've got my vote if I lived in your district.
Oh gosh, how you doing?
Flattery will get you everywhere.
It will.
I know, with Kimberly anyway. A lot of makeup and what you want to call tape to pull my face back, and I got it around my neck. That's why I got on a turtleneck and just all kinds of little tricks and tips. But anyway, you didn't come on here to talk about the latest makeup techniques, anti-aging type. We'll do that on another day. But I do want to ask you this. How would you address this insane partisanship that's taken over our entire political system from the federal level all the way down?
Yeah. Well, I think part of it for me anyway, and this is something that I talked about with the young people tonight. We know that there has been a systematic dehumanization of others. We have been othering people so much, and now we're seeing the super bad side of that. And I think that what's happening is we've got a whole lot of people that, as long as they have what they feel like they need, they don't care that other people don't have what they need. They don't care that other people can't afford their health care. They don't care that there's about to be kids going hungry, because they're sleeping well at night and their billionaire buddies are sleeping well at night. And that's all that they care about. And so I think that we've got to get back to the human factor of this, that we are all people. We're all Americans here. We are all Kentuckians, and nobody's coming to save us but us. So, this is something that we've got to do. We have to figure out how to bring each other back together, but we've got to figure out how to see the humanity in everybody else again. And that's something, we all get up and put on our pants one leg at a time. And so I think a lot of that is treating others the way that you want to be treated. Let's go back to the golden rule. No matter, how you were raised, what you believe, that is something that we all know. And we really need to get back to that. I think big money in politics is a huge part of the problem that we have going on. And so that's absolutely something that that I would work on when I got to Congress, to try to get some of that out of here, because it's hurting real people. And so I think that finding ways to humanize one another again, and being a truth teller and telling stories of people. So we are about to see people hit, unfortunately, rock bottom a lot. So lifting up their stories and helping other people to realize the choices that they're making are affecting not just them, but a lot of other people, and helping them to just realize that, we're all in this together. Our communities are stronger when we are together. And it's so weird. When we had 9/11, look at how united the country was. When we had the tornadoes in Western Kentucky and the floods in Eastern Kentucky, people just rallied around one another, and politics went out the window, and we were there to help one another. And we're seeing that a lot right now, as my Facebook is just flooded with people talking about where they can donate food, where people who need food can go get it. I'm seeing the Dollar Tree dinners that are popping up. We just had, there are community organizations like FoodChain, and that's so much of what I'm seeing right now. And it's about community coming together to try to lift each other up and support one another. And we've got to figure out how we make that happen, not just in times of hardships and catastrophes, but on an everyday basis. And, it's something that I'm working on. And again, I think a lot of it just goes back to that golden rule. And we just, all of us need to work at bringing the temperature down. I'm sorry, there's a cattail in there. But but it's on us. The onus is on all of us to try to bring the temperature down, stop othering each other, and just relate to one another as human beings anymore, and stop looking at the world as red versus blue, because right now it's actually billionaires versus you.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for that. So this is a question we've been asking all of the candidates that have come on. So I don't know if you watched any of your competition on the show, but know that you are in it to win it.
Yep.
But as we stated at the top of the show, we are committed to an ultimate outcome, which is flipping this seat.
Flipping this seat blue.
Electing an independent voice to challenge the Trump mega regime, as opposed to bootlicker Barr, who we have seen enthusiastically falling into line. So as we look at the next year, we want to challenge every candidate to do two things. One, commit right here, right now to avoid running negative ads against your primary opponents.
Yep.
Will you stay positive? Will you spend ad money on making the case for your strengths, not tearing your opponents down?
Yes, absolutely. You know, and it's something that I've always done in all of my races. I want to give people something to vote for, not something to vote against.
Awesome.
So yes, I will absolutely commit to that.
And then the second part of this challenge is, will you commit to supporting the ultimate candidate and working with them, whoever it is?
Yep.
Obviously, if it's you, it'll be easy. But if it's, one of the other three folks, will you work with them to help win this race? Taking the Andy and Rocky approach to winning the election.
Absolutely, I will. I do believe that when this seat flips, that we are going to flip the United States House, and that has to happen at all costs. Yeah. So, I am here to do the work myself. But after that primary, I am still in this work for Democrats to win up and down the ballot.
Awesome. So far we're 3 out of 3. Tune in next week to see if all 4 of the candidates agree to these 2 common sense promises. Any final thoughts you want to leave us with, Cher?
Just that I know things are hard right now for a lot of people. We all get that pit in our stomach 10 times a day when that breaking news alert comes up on our phones. I want everybody to be sure that they're taking care of themselves, that they're allowing themselves space to feel what they're feeling, that they're taking care of their mental health, that they're taking care of their families, that they're allowing themselves to sometimes say no, but also that we do not allow everybody to fall into despair. Like, I know that we're angry, we're frustrated, we're sad, but our kids and our grandkids cannot afford for us to just fall into a depression, to put our heads in the sand. We have got to take all of that energy and channel it into action. So obviously you can head to my website, CherlynStevenson.com, to sign up to volunteer, to donate. We are actually going to be knocking doors on Saturday. We're going to meet at Veterans Park at 10 o'clock. So come out and knock some doors. And if you're afraid to do that, you've never done it before, it's a primary. We're only talking to Democrats, so it could not be easier right now. So this is the perfect time to get your feet wet. And obviously, I hope that people choose me as their candidates to support, but find a candidate to support, whether it's your city council, whether it's somebody who's running for magistrate or Congress or state rep. Find a candidate and get to work, because we have an opportunity here. Yes, this is an open seat, but right now we don't even have to struggle for things to talk about. The other side is handing us the talking points on a silver platter. These elections are ours to lose right now. So if we will all band together and commit to doing the work together, we can make all of this nightmare a lot better.
Yeah, take Trump's power, flip the House.
Yep.
As long as they don't steal enough states' redrawn maps between now and then. Holy crap, there's a lot going on. Cher, thank you for your positivity. It was a breath of fresh air as we stare at these looming challenges and crises that are coming down the pipe at us right now. But good luck on the campaign trail. I'm sure I'll see you out on it.
Thanks so much. And in the words of a great man, we will get through this, and we will get through it together.
We will indeed. Awesome. So really always a pleasure to hear from our friend Cherlynn Stevenson, who I think literally has probably been on the show as many times as Chris, I think.
That's quite a bit.
It's quite a bit. Yeah. I mean, you're not a slouch. You're a frequent co-host. But yeah, we do have a couple things we need to get through before we let you all go. Really important action alert that ties back into what we've been talking about all day. So please do take it away, Chris.
Yeah, we've got a call to action for you. So we've got to be there for folks who need food, people. I mean, as we've heard throughout this episode, hundreds of thousands of our neighbors across the Commonwealth and tens of thousands across the Bluegrass rely upon SNAP benefits that are going to disappear due to Trump MAGA regime and folks like Boot Liquor Bar. Help people get and find the food they need. The No Kings Lex Coalition pulled together this Food Hub resource guide, which includes FoodChain, of course, and other important groups like Glean and God's Pantry. So you can find that at the bit link Lex-Food-Hub. So there's a we have to call to action here to help people make sure they have the food if the Trump regime actually does go through this awful plan of taking away SNAP benefits, which they don't have to. I'm going to reiterate something that we've said previously in the show. There is contingency money already there for a government shutdown, and they're choosing not to use that money because they want to try to make it look like the Democrats are at fault for this.
Yeah, big one. This is like one of the most important calls to action we've done. Thanks for sharing that, Chris. All right, Kimberly, you want to close us out?
I sure will, Aaron. It was so great being on here with you tonight, Chris. Oh, this was a treat. We never get to co-host the show together anymore. But, it was a great, great show tonight. Miss Leandra, Forman with FoodChain, and then State Representative Cherlynn Stevenson talking about her run for Congress. It has been a very exciting show tonight, and I hope that people were able to get some very pertinent information as we move into this impending crisis of no food stamps for November. But thank God, Progress Kentucky is a nonprofit organization registered with the Kentucky Secretary of State and organized as a 501c4. We are affiliated with the Indivisible Project and the Common Ground Kentucky Action. And we are also proud members of the Forward Kentucky Network. Progress Kentucky's goal is always to educate, organize, increase voter turnout, and advance a progressive agenda through civic engagement. Please join us next week. We'll be finishing our string of interviews with candidates running in the 6th District, and we'll be interviewing former Lexington City Council member David Klober. Tonight, our production was done by our very own most wonderful host, Aaron Viles. Thank you, Aaron. You did a spectacular job tonight. I will not be making fun of you in any type of way. Nate Orshan wrote and performed our theme song. You can find more information and music at natosongs.com. Do it with me, natosongs.com. If you miss our weekly live stream on Facebook or YouTube, audio podcast, and our show notes are always available on Apple, Spotify, and just about wherever you get your podcast. And when you do listen to our podcast, please leave us a 5-star review whenever you listen. We really, really appreciate it, and it helps the algorithms. So share the show tonight. We really appreciate you, listeners and viewers, and we will see you back here at the same time, same day of the week, next week. And until then, have a good rest of your week.